We are playing Broken Bane D&D. I've got all 4 of my players today. We are playing with Battle and Aaliyah and Yume and Winnie. And they're going to tell us what they think happened last time. How are y'all doing? You ready to tell me what you think happened last time?
Yes.
Clearly, yes. Very excited. Cool.
Never-ending
more
walking.
Walking.
What do y'all remember? More walking?
We left the room with all the doorknobs and the keys.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed they were all doorknobs because that was what the key was. But I'm guessing that's not true.
Wait, what?
The key to
The room with the keys, and the key for the door was a doorknob.
So I then imagined all of them being doorknobs.
Okay.
And so now I have a bucket full of doorknobs.
No, they're keys.
Well, that explains it.
No, they're keys. Dang it.
I didn't know why you were carrying those around.
They're
keys. They're just in case. I have a bucket full of probably a couple doorknobs and a bunch of keys, and then the cogs, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we did put the cogs in the bucket. Winnie and Battle had a moment where Winnie trusted Battle and gave up the cogs.
Yep, I remember
Because-
that.
A number of... Go ahead.
Oh, I think I was gonna skip ahead in the timeline, so whatever you
A
were
number
gonna
of
say.
magic cogs that line up with some interesting glyphs outside of this magical cave.
Yeah, you've got 3 of them, and you think they correspond with the symbols you saw etched in the arch of the entrance to this whole cave system in positions 3, 5, and 6 out of 12.
We
There was
rolled too many 7s.
Yes. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah,
It was right after the room with the hand with the fingers that were counting down like every
We were
minute.
counted at, and we don't know why.
Nothing happened. But we
my
also
favorite
got
room.
We don't know what happened. We got out in time.
Yeah, that's a good note though. Stream, please check in with your players when you're using any kind of mechanics, whether they're homebrew or in the book. You know, check in with them if they're like, hey, that happened a lot, or I don't, listen to their feedback and make adjustments if you can. We discussed that we are going to when we get a 7, I'm gonna ask, is this a good time for weird? And if everybody's like, yeah, I feel like this is a good time for weird, then we'll do the card. And I'm going to do a better job of matching the card to the situation as well. So if like there's too many heart-hitting ones and not enough silly ones, then maybe I specifically go for a silly one because I have full control over that. So that's what we're going to try with this group moving forward. Yeah, what else do you remember?
Nudity.
What? Oh, right. One of the cards took all your clothes, right, for like a minute.
And you may had very creative use of her umbrella
Right.
to deal with that problem.
Yep. That was good.
Everyone else should have their own umbrella. That's what we learned.
That's what we learned.
That's what we learned.
That's what I learned. Okay, so when you entered into this this cave system, lots of stone walls, perfectly square, that look like the walls have been sort of installed. You saw a room of robots that were sort of in, less robots and more just like metal creatures, in 2 lines going in opposite directions into holes in the walls. And when you got near them, they tried to hit you. And you managed to snare one that looked like a bucket. And then you went to a room. The next room you went into was full of keys, and you needed to find the right one to get through the next door. You used a skill challenge for that, which I thought was fun. And then the next room you went into was the one that was full of like levers and buttons and sliders and stuff, and you were pushing them and trying to figure out how to get out in the hand that was counting down, and you eventually walked through the next door. So I believe we're leaving you, or we're picking up on the other side of that door. You're in the hallway on the other side of that door. Does that sound right to everybody?
Our clothes have just reappeared.
And
Do we still have a awoken axe?
I think for like another minute or so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if we can just say that has
fine.
gone away. The more I thought about that, the more uncomfortable I got with it, and I'd rather not have it continue to be sentient. If that's okay with everybody, I don't know what to do with it.
Is it because I told you I wanted to make a ton of dick jokes?
No, I think my brain just started manifesting dick jokes, and like I've never seen anybody use that card in a different way, and like with the world and the state that it's in right now, I just didn't wanna. So if it's okay, I'd rather
For what
not.
it's worth, I was just planning on having sassy comments as to why Winnie was the best and everybody else sucks, and nobody should be looking at Winnie because Winnie is glorious.
That's fair. I mean, Winnie is
Yeah.
glorious, yeah.
But I also respect the wishes of the and the comfort, and it's
Yeah.
about all of us having fun, including you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They changed my meds again, and so I've been trying to find my new balance, equilibrium, and I've been finding that I am a lot weirder about some things than I was before. So I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. What y'all learned last time is what everyone looks like without clothes on. That axes can talk and be in love with you. That Aaliyah was worried about Battle being unpredictable, and then Battle rolled around on the floor, confirming that thought. That was in the room with all the levers and buttons. Aaliyah also realized that Yume is the most reliable, and that she has the most in common with Winnie. Yume learned that the other three do not share in her desperate modesty, and everybody else seemed fine. Shy has been trained to hit buttons. You learned that this place sucks. So stream. It's important to check in with your players, because if the players think this place sucks, you need to change your adventure. If the characters think this place sucks and the players are like, I am still having fun, you can keep moving. But as soon as you start hearing that, you want to be checking in a little bit more, just to make sure that everybody is still having fun. Okay?
The players think the dungeon is great.
Yeah, thank you.
Agreed.
I did not pay them to say that. So, we learned that Battle is usually calm and composed, but you sort of, it looks like Battle's sort of cracked, sort of paranoid and kind of like fed up and sort of on edge. It feels like Winnie and Battle have traded places. And I don't remember what that was an exact comment to, and I wonder if it's the calmness versus the
Caution versus the not, because like in the last room, Battle was just like, screw it, and like rolled over all the buttons and levers and was just like
Right.
hitting everything. And now Winnie's the one that's like, can we maybe not?
Well, and I think Winnie like just crashed through those lines of metal things too in that first room. Okay. We learned that Aaliyah learned that there are hot and cool spots on the wall with a stupid frequency of happening. So, your words, not mine. You learned that there is magic here. This place doesn't have a lot of patterns, which is frustrating to the players. And I want to be clear that I promise to resolve things in a hopefully satisfying manner. We'll see. There seems to be an air of neglect here. These things seem to have been built for a purpose, but currently there's no rhyme or reason to it. And Battle is feeling justified about her paranoia. So that's what I wrote down for that. And then in the session notes, I wrote that so the RP point went to... Oh, we tied. So Aaliyah got an RP point for hiding her scars, losing it a little bit, and yelling for a minute, and revealing the smoke smell. Oh, that's right. We got to see a little bit more of Aaliyah last time. That was fun. And then Yume got a point for hiding behind the umbrella when her clothes disappeared. So I really like those two moments getting those points, because it was about revealing something about the character. I thought that was neat. We had a lot of reveals. Another moment that happened last time was Winnie putting on a necklace and then tucking it away, and it was pretty clear she'd been hiding it. Battle had the idea to put the cogs in the bucket and softly chanted, "Bucket, bucket, bucket," until Winnie. Oh, that's when you had your moment about putting things in the bucket. And so I think Battle was like bucket until Winnie was like, okay, fine, and put stuff in the bucket. Am I remembering that correctly?
She was chanting like bucket.
That's what it was. Yep. Okay. Another nomination was Battle slowly coming unraveled in these caves, getting slightly wilder and unhinged as they go further. We did comment on Aaliyah's hesitancy with the group, that it's really nice to see a player who can not just like run headlong into a new group and be like, ta-da, I trust everybody, but also isn't being the kind of player that's like, well, I will never trust them because it's only been 3 hours in game time, over several months. So that's really nice. Yeah, so that's what I have written down. Anybody remember anything else?
It covers it well.
Okay. Just checking the channels. Got it. All right. Well, I think we're ready to pick up. Did I say anything about what the hallway looks like outside of this door?
I feel like you had said it looks just like the rest of them.
That's probably fair. Yeah. And did I say anything else?
That could be wrong. Anybody else?
Cool. Okay. If anybody in chat remembers something else I said, please let me know. Okay. So you're standing outside this door. Everybody is just put all your clothes back on or rearrange things, because I think they just appeared back where they were supposed to be. So you just rearrange things and tuck things in and whatnot. There's probably a moment where you're all looking at each other. Like, are you going to keep going? Or are you going to turn back? Like, what's everybody's thoughts? What's everybody's character's thoughts right now? Is anybody, any character feeling like, I don't know if we should keep going? Are there any characters that are like, what the hell is happening? Like, what are we getting from reactions here?
Point where there's no point going back,
Yep.
and it's just as frustrating going forward.
Mm.
I think Battle is annoyed with herself, wondering, like, it's kind of like in scary movies where you wonder, where's the bad guys show the, like, monster to me already?
Mhm.
And you're waiting and there's anticipation, and she's kind of got that feeling of, like, and that's what's pushing, and she's trying to kind of use this reorganizing and getting dressed as like a meditative, ritualistic, calming, soothing situation.
That's fair.
Yume is just a little bit frustrated, and I think it's rooted in wanting to understand everything. And it's very difficult to understand why we were able to walk in almost a straight line for 6 hours plus and still not, can't say not get anywhere, because we've hit a couple unique rooms. It seems like there's still new things to discover the more we go down, but it's not like there's a branching tree of options. It's just constantly a straight line. So we're getting somewhere. Just like, why? This isn't making sense yet.
And Winnie. So, if anyone is looking at Winnie, she is kind of just like standing in the corner, staring at her axe, and like just has tears running down her face. And has like the hand that's not holding her axe is holding like against her chest a little bit. Like maybe she's holding something that's like under her shirt. And she's not looking at anybody. She's just like looking at her axe, like almost in her own world. So it's really hard for anyone else to know what's going on. But I don't know if anyone else is paying attention. So, because it's kind of, we're coming out of a moment of chaos.
I think I would notice, but I would just decide that what you want is space and to honor your introspection right now. And I might even like kind of move around you and
Shield
draw
her.
people's attention to something else.
Yeah, okay. Look at that over there. So it sits in the wall, just like the ones we've seen before.
Maybe I share the information about there being seams in the walls and that there's different patches of hot and cold,
Yeah.
because I haven't said that out loud yet.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna step around, which is, you know, a few steps, stepping around my Furbolg friend, and just sort of share in a quiet voice my observations about the tunnels. I was touching the sides of the tunnels, and there were seams where it seemed like there was a join, but they were invisible to the eye. And I also noticed that there's hot patches and cold patches, but I couldn't identify any pattern to these, any reason for them. I don't know if it's significant.
I mean, it's got to mean something.
It doesn't feel alive. There wasn't any sense of like a heartbeat or a pulse or respiration, but there was definite warmth and then cooler areas and these seams.
Mm.
And we're just going down.
I mean, we're going to reach the other end of the planet if we keep going down.
Well, it's just this gentle slope all the time, isn't it? So I haven't even got a sense of how far down we've gone.
Okay. Are y'all gonna keep going after a minute?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so you start walking down this tunnel again. You're seeing the same thing you've seen before. These walls are made out of a very smooth stone that looks like it's been installed in these panels, left, right, top, and bottom. And every once in a while, at distances that are not like equal or consistent, you get those braces that go all the way from one wall up the ceiling down to another wall with a lot of braces joints, but not where you'd think they would be in the corners, but in different spots along that line that it's making. So you get far enough away that you can't see the door that you just came through, and you realize that the brace that's coming up looks like there's a drop in the ceiling beyond the brace. And as you get closer to where the brace is, you realize after the brace, on the other side of the brace from where you are, the floor has dropped an equal amount down that the ceiling has dropped down. Does that make sense?
So instead
So
of a
as if
slope, it's
we're-
a step down.
We're in like a tube, and the tube is breaking.
Yeah.
Does it look intentional, or does it look like the floor sank?
It looks like the tube sort of sank down. Right, like
Like it's eroding? Or
like
you
it
guys-
slipped, maybe.
Okay. So it
Does
doesn't
it
look
rise
by
back up?
design.
Further down within sight, or does it look like the tunnel is now at that height from now on?
It looks like the tunnel is now at that height from now on. What did you ask, Aaliyah?
I think I'm just trying to get my head around it, so I'm being a bit repetitive. Sorry, but I think what you're saying is this isn't by design. It's more perhaps age or a seismic shift of the. So it's something not intentional.
It's hard to tell what's intentional in this
Okay.
place and not. What I think Aaliyah could assume is, given the state of other things in the place that you've been in, oh my god,
Mhm.
sorry, I have a cat like climbing all over my computer in my periphery, and it's distracting. So in the place that you've been in, what you have seen so far, this could be just another sign of neglect and age.
Mhm.
Does it
And
seem
what's
like
the
this-
lighting like? Sorry.
There is no lighting, so y'all are using Yume's umbrella as a source of light, and some of you can see in the dark.
Okay.
Does it seem like the slope is steeper from
No.
here?
It seems like the same grade of descent, just dropped down like 3 inches.
Battle hates this.
Great.
Sarah loves it. Battle hates it.
Okay, you
Check
keep.
out if in the edges, like on the edge where, say, where you might measure the distance of the deviation.
Mhm.
Is there anywhere we can see it in there where there might be grooves or signs of it being able to move in and out of position?
Um, roll me an investigation check.
Ooh, it's a natural 19
That's good.
plus 2, 21.
You can tell that with the separation like this, it's harder to tell where the seams match along the walls that are smooth. But here, where there's a separation, you can see it's even clearer that these are man-made, if you will. You would expect to see sort of a ragged edge if this were like a fault or something that had broken, and you're not seeing that. You're seeing a very smooth edge, and from that, I think you'd assume that this could be intentional.
Okay. Kind of, I think, I don't know if I always say this out loud, just thinking out loud. Like, I'm wondering if it can, like, shift in and out of place,
Mhm.
if there's some sort of mechanism here, but no sign of that being the case. Not yet, at least.
Okay.
Maybe it goes back up when we go down some ways.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
there's no symbols or anything like that, right? The walls
Nope.
are still smooth.
Yep.
There's nothing around. Okay, so and there's no signs of any mechanisms. I like Yume's idea. I'm gonna lower myself in, like, down the step. Sort of, I'm gonna sort of step down tentatively,
Mhm.
and move into this next section.
Okay. Nothing happens. You move in without anything terrible happening.
All right, I'm gonna try and use the right words. I'm gonna cast flame. Is that what I'm gonna do? So that I can see, because I'm ahead of Yume now.
I think you have dark vision.
You do.
You have
You're
dark
right.
vision, so you
Okay,
you
so
can
I
see.
don't need to do.
Mhm.
Okay.
I can go with you if you want. Also, my light reaches 40 feet.
So you can see for a bit.
Okay. I'm really trying to make some progress here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll gingerly follow her, but kind of step down with like a testing foot first, and look behind, and then keep going, and probably usher Bucket down because now we have precious cargo.
Bucket does that weird like thunk thing of a very heavy metal bucket on wheels going over an edge, and the keys and cogs inside clatter around and make a really horrible noise that echoes.
And Winnie is bringing up the rear of the party
Weird.
oddly, like, I suppose if Battle looks behind her to make sure that Bucket makes it down the gap, she's probably gonna see that Winnie is like still just kind of like looking at the floor, but also kind of like looking behind them, like her axe is still out.
Mhm.
She's in a really weird headspace.
Fair enough. All right, so you're gonna move. So you're gonna continue down the hallway. Again, you get to a place where you can't see where the step down was anymore, and you find another place like the last one, but this time instead of it being shifted down, it looks like it's shifted to the left. And it's shifted to the left enough that you can see that the wall is about 6 inches thick. So it's about 8 inches shifted, and there's a 2-inch gap on the right side, all along that one side of the wall. And the brace that you see is no longer square. It's sort of shifted shape, so it looks like it's sort of pushed in from the right, and the ceiling almost looks like it's tipped. But you're not sure whether it's like an optical illusion or whether the hallway is no longer square.
We can't hear you, Battle.
I imagine Shy is going up to this gap and is sniffing aggressively.
Okay.
I don't know if it smells any different, but I imagine what most dogs I know would do if there's a new exposure point. I mean, what's this crack exposing? Is it more like metal? Is it stone?
It's darkness. If you look through it with your dark vision, you see nothing through it. You can see along the length of the hallway, the other side of the wall, and that side of the wall is just as smooth as this side of the wall, but you can't see the next bracing or anything like that. If you kind of like look at the bracing on the side that you're on. Actually, one thing you do see is there's a very so the bracings are. Oh my god, I can't talk. The metal bracings you're seeing in the hallways so far are maybe like 2 or 3 inches thick, where it looks like they meet the wall. They stick out about 2 or 3 inches, and the joints that you see stay within that sort of that space. As you're looking down the wall, one of the things you notice is the same metal that makes up the bracings is edging that wall, and it's only about a 1/2 inch thick. But it follows the wall the same way that the bracing inside the wall does. And
So it's like we're inside of a thermos. A hallway thermos.
I do not.
It's like it's insulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's dually layered metal in a particular fashion.
Okay.
Is that what I'm understanding?
I think so.
Sorry. Just trying to imagine what that looks like, but it's darkness. Just darkness.
Yes.
Like, normally if we were in an underground tunnel and the edge of the tunnel was exposed, normally it would be like dirt on the other side.
Right.
But this
Or
is
like
just like
a cave or something.
like
Yeah.
if somebody were to stick their hand in there, would you feel anything?
Yes, and I have to tell you, all of the GMs that I've talked to about this are like, "Oh, suck them into a portal." I'm not gonna do that. If you stick your hands through, it's like you've stuck your hands through a crack and you can wiggle them, and like, there's just empty space beyond there. You're muted, Tyler.
It's just 2 inches wide, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
So you could probably get your hand in there actually, but maybe not a wrist. Maybe Yume. Yume's pretty tiny, right? Yume might be able to get like part of her arm through there.
I'll put some fingers in there if no one else is going to.
Hannah,
like
stop it.
I'm gonna like kind of I want to say don't do it, but obviously I don't feel like it's my place yet, so I'm just gonna go and stand sort of ready to pull Yume out if anything happens.
Okay, so Yume's gonna attempt see what happens if you put your hands through that space. Okay. So you do this. The only thing you notice is, the bracing on the inside of the hall feels like it is the same temperature as the hallway, but the bracing on the outside feels a little chillier, and it's barely noticeable. But it's noticeable enough that you do note that because you're going to be touching both of them at the same time. But otherwise, it's just empty space. There's no, it's not colder, it's not warmer, there's no whistling of air. It's just an empty space.
It's just empty. It's weird. I don't think it's gonna mean anything for us right now, but I'm wondering if maybe there will be more shifting in the hallway the further we go, and maybe together those will give a pattern or some meaning.
I still think this is all a production to scare us, or that something about this is fishy. Clearly, this hallway is created, and this tunnel is like all of this is produced, right? There's robots, there's things around. Everything is strange. Too many peaches. The fabric is too soft. The cogs are bad. Nobody touch anything and get your fingers out of there.
Wait, was any of that battle? I couldn't
All of
tell
that,
if...
all of it was battle.
Okay, I couldn't tell if you were... Gosh.
Sorry.
Battle, are you scared?
I don't know what's going on and I don't like it. And I just don't want any of us to get harmed.
That makes
understandable.
2 of us.
Okay.
I don't like this place. I don't like what it does to us. I don't like a lot of this. And as much as I want to save the mayor's son and figure out what's going on with these looms in the town, I don't know. Is it worth it to keep going if other bad things might happen?
Well, we haven't really gotten hurt at all beyond the automaton things. It's been disorienting, but hasn't really been too dangerous.
Everyone in the town talked about how dangerous this was, though. Like, what if there is no brother? What if there is no twin? What if we're down here because this is what they do to people who come to their village?
Well, it still couldn't go on forever,
I was
right?
here before.
Go ahead, Aaliyah.
Well, I was here before you guys, and I didn't get a sense of anything untoward. I think, is that correct, DM?
Yeah, no, everybody was... Oh, my camera froze. Hang on, there we go. So everyone was really friendly. Nobody gave you, like, nobody hit your creep meter or anything. It seemed very benign. It seemed like a nice bustling town. You didn't pick up anything that would have indicated a giant conspiracy that liked to lure outsiders into a creepy dungeon. I know the way I said that did not inspire confidence, but I want you to remember what I said earlier about how I've been weird, and so I want you to hear that in just like a completely normal way.
The main point is that there was nothing suspicious.
Nothing suspicious. She says, not suspiciously.
Title of the episode.
Yeah. And I'm quite perceptive. So, so I relay that, and I'm gonna move on and in.
Okay.
Slowly and tentatively.
Winnie is going to stop you
Ooh.
with just like a hand on your shoulder or something and say, if anything is going to happen, I want it to keep happening to me and not anyone else. So I'll go first.
I'm by your side.
But I'm first.
You're first. I'm slightly behind you by your side.
I think Battle's back to bringing up the back only because I'm guessing that it's going to be really hard to get Bucket back up if that was as heavy of a thunk as Bucket did on the way down that 3 inches.
Oh, it's not a step up. It's to the left. It's a slide to
so
the
it's
left.
a smooth platform for Bucket.
Yeah, it's a step down, a slide to the left. Let's see what happens
Okay.
next.
Then I'm guessing it's a firm like, come on, Shy. Stop. There's nothing there. Let's go.
I think she'll whine a little bit, the same way that a service dog is like, I'm gonna do what you want, but I think it's stupid will do, and she'll come with you.
Oh, wait. So the first shift was the hallway was lowered by a couple inches at the floor and the ceiling,
Yes.
but this one is only cut in from one side.
No, it's cut in on both sides.
Oh. So if we go in and turn around and look at the right side, there's a dark spot
Yes.
looking from the way we came.
Yes.
We
Okay.
shifted down and then we shifted left.
Yes. So there's a gap on both sides of this.
Mhm.
Yep, you got it.
The next weird spot in the hallway will likely be a couple inches up on both sides, or on the bottom and top. So let's go find it.
Okay. So y'all continue down the hallway. You're actually still within sight of the spot that shifted. You can just barely see it, and you're not near a bracing at all. You can see it, the next bracing up the way, and one of the panels on the wall is actually like as you're approaching it, it looks like it's pivoted out into the hallway, like 6 inches. And the gap is on the other side. If there is a gap, it's on the other side of what the way you're looking at it. You'd have to walk past it to see the
So
bit.
we see a panel of metal sticking into the hallway.
stone. So like the walls are all made of stone, and you see one of the panels popped out a little.
I was wrong.
Can I
I'm even
press
more
on
confused
that?
now.
Yeah, you can. Do you want to look at it at all?
Yes.
Okay. So there is just the faintest sliver of opening, because this section of wall is about 6 inches thick, so it's like six inches and like a bitty, and there's actually light coming through that. It's very, very faint, but as you get to the pop out bit, you can see that there's light coming through it.
There's light coming through, you guys. Can I try and put my fingers like behind the panel and see if it?
You want to see if you can get your fingers
are
in there and like
hinges? Is it something that? Yeah.
roll me an investigation check.
Plus. 16.
So, you can't see a mechanism, but as you get a grip on it, have you ever tried to open a door where like the hinges just had like a ton of grit in them, and it's like it was moving, but it was like difficult to get it to move?
Okay.
You're feeling something like that, and you rolled well enough that I'll tell you that you can feel the pivot points are in where the wall meets the floor and the ceiling.
I can feel that the pivot points. So this isn't like a. It's a floor to ceiling panel.
Yes.
And I can feel that. I'm confused by the pivot point thing. Sorry.
Is it like
Being on both sides?
like if there was like a hinge almost in the middle, so it would be like a rotating door, like in Young Frankenstein?
Yeah.
When there's that secret wall
Yeah.
where you put the candle back.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have seen that. I'm
I
trying-
have. I really like the reference you're making.
Is that what it's like? Like this,
Yeah.
if we were to push on maybe one side of the wall, it would rotate inwards or outwards?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to share that with everyone, and I'm going to look at Winnie for permission to do something.
We already saw kind of what's on the other side of these walls, and it just seems to be nothing. If we open this, is it just gonna send us into a void?
Can you shut your umbrella, Yume?
Mm-hmm. I do so.
No more light. What happens?
Oh, it's very faint, but you can see the crack that you can see has an edge of light, as if there's a very faint light source, maybe far down.
What about that, Winnie?
Winnie is so conflicted right now.
Can you all roll perception checks?
Uh-oh. The wall is a mimic.
No.
Nat 20.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
So I have a total of 26.
24.
2.
Wow, you may. So I got a 24,
Well,
a nat
it's- wait,
20
it's
with
'cause you make
26 and 18.
Closed her umbrella.
Uh-huh.
So
It's
it's
sad
dark
without
now.
the light.
Your eyes are adjusting.
I'm trying to write down numbers really quickly and I'm doing a bad job. Okay. So, Battle. So you are not going to hear anything. Winnie, you hear something, but you're not sure what you're hearing. And Aaliyah, you also, it sounds like somebody is saying something, but it sounds like they have no breath. Battle, you can just barely hear somebody saying, "Is someone out there?" But it's very, very faint. It is just on the edge of your hearing, and you know it's coming from in that hallway.
In the hallway or on the other side of the
Sorry,
rotating
on the other
door?
side of the rotating door.
I relay this to the group.
He is immediately gonna push on that door.
Okay. So you push on the door. You can see a light source, but the hallway you're in now, it curves, and the walls are rougher. They don't look like they've been installed. They look just like somebody has chiseled out walls. They're about the same dimension, but they get slightly smaller. It's sort of an irregular hallway that curves, and the light source is coming from beyond the curve, and that's also where the voice is coming from. Do we approach in a particular way, or are you barreling around the corner? Does anybody follow Winnie?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think Battle takes the usual formation of taking up the rear.
Okay.
Feeling much more in her element now that we're finally going to face something.
It's a trap.
Fine, but at least it's something.
Something's happening.
You're waiting to hear roll initiative.
Sarah's a little sad, but Battle's very excited.
So you go, so Winnie's in front, you go around this corner, and the hallway opens up into what looks like a smallish room. And the hallway is sort of entering the room in like we'll call it the bottom left-hand corner. So the room opens up to the right. And the light is coming from like the top right corner. So that's how the light is sort of getting down the hallway, but in a faint fashion to that door. So you go in there, and this looks like an ancient workshop. There's tables at different heights. There's shelves all over the place. There's dismantled robot, like metal dudes. There's weird contraptions. There's papery notes. There's dust everywhere except on a very clean path that goes back and forth, between here and the hallway directly on the other side of this room. And in the back corner, slumped in a chair, is a young man. He's clutching his chest, and he looks up as you enter. How scary do you look?
How does he feel about furbolgs?
Yeah, I mean,
No, like Winnie, are you charging in like ready for battle, or are you like running in, like looking around? Like, are you
No, I'm
holding
running
your?
and looking around.
Okay, so you're not running in with like your battle axe ready to
mean,
like smash
I-
stuff.
Well, I mean,
Like,
it's
with
at
your
my
battle
side,
face
but I'm
on?
not like but it's like at my side, and I'm just like,
Okay.
where is this
Um,
person? That's
Okay, so I think so he's gonna respond like, "Oh, thank God, I'm so glad somebody found me. Who are you? Do you have any water? And he's finding it very difficult to speak, like he can't get a full breath in.
Does anyone have a canteen?
I hand over my canteen.
He takes it. It's clear that like one of his arms is just not gonna do
My
anything.
water skin.
It's like his strength has left him, and he tries to take it and he almost drops it. And he says, "Can you help me, please? Help me, please." And
Yeah, and in a very matter-of-fact way, I do,
Yeah.
as I have. It looks like something I've done with weary travelers many a time. It's not particularly emotional. It's just
Yeah.
pragmatic.
So you're making sure to give him little sips, so that he doesn't like gulp anything, and he takes it. He pushes it away, and he's, "Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I've been injured. I can't talk very loud. If you can come closer. I can't shout." So he's sort of like beckoning with one arm as he's clutching his chest with another.
What happened to you?
I've been down here for I don't know, weeks, months. I ran out of food days ago and water even longer. I came down here with a group and we got separated, and there's so many rooms and they keep moving and changing, and I got trapped in one, and I tried to get through when it moved, and I got stuck, and I barely got through, but I got oh, sorry, Tara. Spread them. So my service dog is picking up on the tone that I'm throwing out, which is trying to indicate a lot of anxiety and fear and pain, and she's reacting like a good service dog and trying to comfort her mama. Thank you, puppy. I'm okay, though. I have to reinforce that this is a good thing for her because service dogs are not robots. Okay, good girl. All better. See her. Off. Okay. So I guess I can't keep doing that voice. Sorry. So he continues to sound like that. He describes where the rooms were shifting, and he tried to like dive through, and he got stuck. He thought he was going to get crushed to death, and managed to get through. He's not even really sure how, but he got completely separated from his group, and he's been trying to get back to the entrance that they came through ever since.
What's your name?
He coughs and he says, "Jason. My name is Jason."
We've been looking for you.
"Oh, did my father send you?"
Yes.
And he's it's like he's crying, but he's so dehydrated and like exhausted that he can't even really like there's just this mixture of relief and fear and pain, and he's I don't know how we're gonna get out of here, he says.
How many others were with you?
He says there were 6 of us.
I mean, we haven't really seen too many rooms. We've mainly just seen one long hallway.
He says they all move, and there are these beasts, and there are these creatures, and these horrible rooms, and these and he's starting to get emotional, and he says, "I know we lost her. I know we lost Sarah," and he gets really upset. Sorry, Sarah. I picked these names a long time ago. And he says, "I know we lost her.
Okay.
We'll never. I don't even know where that went." And he's really like, he's exhausted. He says, "I haven't slept in days. I'm sorry. I'm not making sense."
Can you walk?
No, not anymore.
The bucket is not big enough to contain the butt of a person, right?
No.
I like the specificity.
I like how you asked that.
The
Yeah.
specificity, yeah, of like specifically a butt.
Just the butt.
Yume, is there anything you can do to help him?
I can try. I'm usually good at helping heal wounds. I don't know if I can help him get his strength back, but I'll try. I'm inclined to try Lesser Restoration, but could I know if that would even make a difference before I spend the spell slot?
Yeah, no, let me look. I forget what all those healing spells do. I played a cleric for a while, but I...
Basically just removes a condition, but exhausted isn't one of those conditions.
No.
If that's even what this is.
No, he's been really horribly injured. Like, his chest is not the right shape. He's got, in mechanical terms, like, lots of levels of exhaustion. We're talking, like, he might not even have a whole hit point. Like, he's really close to gonna
Am I
die.
allowed to know if hit point healing would help here? Do I
Yeah.
need to, like, roll the
Yeah,
vigor
because
that would help?
Yeah, this is less of a, like, spell he's under and more of a, like, he got crushed by a big rock. So I think you can tell that.
I think I missed that part.
Yeah, so one of the hallways was changing, and you've seen how they've dropped, and he got stuck in between one of them changing, like around his chest area. Like, he got stuck in the middle of the hallways, like, shifting, and then he managed to get through, so he got crushed.
Then I will absolutely heal him. Real quick, while moving up to him, I want to take a peek and see if does he have any gear on him? Like, does he look like an adventurer? Or does he kind of appear like, kind of like a commoner?
He looks like, he's got a sword, he's got, leather armor. He looks like a young man, a prosperous young man who went off on an adventure. He's got, like, a satchel, that's fairly flat at this point. That probably contains supplies and whatnot. He's got a length of rope on one hip. He's wearing boots, sturdy shoes, and it looks like he's been beat up. So he's seen some combat. He looks like he could swing a sword.
I'm going to assume he has a little bit of adventuring fortitude, meaning he has some amount of hit points. So I'm going to spend 2 healing light on him for now.
Got it.
And that will be... Oh, great. Snake Eyes.
Good job.
That's going to be 2 points of healing.
You
do
RP
have an
points.
RP point.
Yes.
Can I do that on non-D20 rolls?
That's technically for D20 rolls, but I don't mind you using it here.
I'll probably forget otherwise.
Yeah, like, I want you to use it, so if this is where you want to use it, use it.
This makes sense to me. It's only 2d6, but Snake Eyes is upsetting there.
Upsetting, yeah.
Yeah.
4 and 5, so 9 points of healing.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Can I believe it was Winnie. I want to ask Winnie if I can have the shawl back to give to him just as a piece of comfort from home.
I think you had it in a bag, didn't you? Or did I?
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, then I pull it out and I want to give it to him just to kind of have as, like, morale.
Okay. As so Yume, what does your healing look like? You can just be like, I heal him and we move on, but if you'd like to describe it, go ahead.
I have nothing special this time.
Well, okay,
It's blowy.
totally fine. So his arm, like his left arm, which was the one that he was sort of clutching to his chest, it looks less rigid, like it relaxes, and he sort of flexes that hand, and he takes a deeper breath and winces and, like, lets it out, and you can tell he still can't breathe in all the way, but it's better, and he can sit up a little straighter, but he's still not gonna be, like, running any marathons. Battle, when you hand him the shawl, he smiles and he says, "Oh, this is my sister's work. Thank you." And he like sets it in his lap, and you can see that he's sort of, like, absently petting it because it's very soft. It's the kind of fabric that anyone would pet.
Son.
What?
Then he's not the mayor's son. He's not Jason, or he is Jason.
He is Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because his sister is the mayor's daughter and works at the loom shop.
Oh, forgot she existed. Okay, thanks.
She's the one that gave us a tour, right? Or
No,
But
that
no, that's no.
fine.
That's one of the triplets.
It's her aunt then. His aunt made the shawl.
Okay.
His family member made the shawl.
A
Okay,
female family member made the
Sorry,
shawl.
I don't mean to be that. Sorry. for
No,
being
be that guy,
sorry.
because I have a terrible memory and I clearly didn't write it down.
Oh, I'm that guy.
No, you're.
it's
This
okay.
is good. This
I
is.
didn't remember
We
the relationship.
we want good lore. This is good lore building.
Autistic players. Okay.
I
so
love
it's
them.
it is Jason. Okay. I could also do Hand of Healing, and I guess I look at Yume like, to like, do you think that was enough?
I've never helped someone like this before. There's a lot going on, but he could probably take all he can get.
It's a key point. Oh, do I have to do it as part of Flurry of Blows? Now I'm confused.
Hang on.
Oh no, that's different. That's a different thing. Okay. So I think I would do that then, because we want him to be able to walk. Is he able to walk yet?
Where do you have this?
Actions?
Third level
And
monk
if
ability.
Oh, Hands of Healing. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can totally use that. So roll
Okay.
a d4 and then add 4.
I feel very stressed now about rolling d4. Oh, 3. Okay, 7.
He sits up a little straighter and he breathes in and he's like, Thank you so much. It's wonderful that you're helping me like this. I don't know how I can repay you. He still is like wincing. You know, he's not 100% better, but his color's better and he's sitting up straighter. And can I trouble you for a little bit more water? I've been down here for such a long time.
Yeah, of course.
And so
I'll
he,
bring out my
yeah,
canteen.
thank you. And he sips it. So he's intelligent enough to know not to like gulp water or anything. And he says, "All right."
I'm also going to give him some, like dried jerky and.
Oh, thank you.
fruit from
Didn't I have the, like, I was suspicious of the food, so I packed it away instead of eating it. So I think I even have food from the cafe.
Sure. That sounds fine. Yeah.
Well,
So he takes anything you give him, and he's, I don't mean to be rude. I've been down, and he like inhales some of it, and he says, and he stands, and it's painful, but he can do it, and he says, I am Jason. I would love to know the names of the wonderful ladies that have rescued me. And you can tell he's a handsome young man, and you can tell he's trying to put on a little charm, like he's used to that. So he asks for introductions.
Well, I'm Winnie.
Winnie, and he takes your hand. It's so wonderful to meet you. Thank you. And he turns to Battle, and you.
I'm Battle. And this is Shy.
Oh, wonderful! The gorgeous dog.
I'm Yume, and she'll do a little.
I
curtsy.
cannot tell that he's trying to switch charm on. Sorry, Yume.
That's fine.
And I'm just like kind of super brusque and like Aaliyah.
Yep. He says, "Thank you so much. Your kindness in healing me." And Yume, you're literally magic. That you're wonderful. Thank you. And he's I think Shauna is being awkward, but he's going to be charming. I want you to know that he's charming. And he says, if you don't mind, I'm going to sit again. So he sits on this chair, and it's just covered. It's filthy. Everything in here is filthy except for that one clean track between the doorways to the halls. And he says, okay, let me explain. So, if you're here, my father must have told you that we're the looms in our town. The only thing that brings in is what our town is known for, the wonderful fabrics we make. They're breaking. And the only thing we know about them is that they're from these caves, these caverns. And the only thing we know about these caverns is that they're dangerous. People will come down here and they never come back, or if they do come back, they ramble on about what they see down here, and none of it ever makes sense. It doesn't match. And he says, and now I know why. Nothing down here does make sense. And he says, so he says, so when we came into the caves, he starts to describe a journey which is not the one y'all went on. He did not see any of the same rooms. Like, he talks about rooms where it's complete darkness no matter what kind of light they had with them. They had a magic light with them and they had torches, and neither of them worked. And when they walked in, they were immediately attacked by what felt like a bunch of sticks, but they couldn't hit anything. He described another room that was just on fire. Like, all of the rooms that he hit were not benign. He describes a room where holes would just open up, and that's the room where he lost his friend. He describes like being in the hallways and them shifting a lot. Not at first, but eventually he said that we got deep enough where things must still be working, whatever that means. And he describes the hallways moving up and sideways and new ones coming into place and swapping rooms in and out. And he says, and in the last hallway we were in, it split in a bunch of different directions, and I was on the wrong side, and I tried to duck through, and I didn't make it. And so the next, and it was like it was pivoting, this hallway. And so I tried to jump in the next one thinking it was just coming around somehow, and it wasn't the hallway my friends were in, and I got hurt. And I made it here. I honestly didn't make it very far. I don't think. I can't really remember. I was in a lot of pain, and I've been here ever since, and the only thing I've seen is this little robot that goes by cleaning that one spot on the floor. It says I've only seen it like once or twice. It's very slow. It does not respond to yelling or throwing things at all. We are about an hour in. Do y'all want to take a break, or you want to keep going? Yeah, break? Okay.
Can we do a quick doggy break?
Yep. Do we need 5 or 10 minutes? We need 10? Okay. So stream, we're going to be back about 10 minutes before the next hour. So I'm going to throw up a be right back screen, and we will be right back. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes, stream. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay. We're back, stream. Okay. So, Jason just explained his whole, life story since he got into the space. And there's a pause, and he goes, oh, also, we kept finding these weird cogs all over the place. And he starts to rummage in his bag. And he says, we found like 4 of them. And he pulls out 4 cogs with 4 different symbols on them.
Yay.
Okay, tell me which symbols.
You're getting... Hang on, I have to refer to my chart. You're getting the cog that would correspond with the 12th symbol if we're going from left to right. The 9th symbol, the 1st symbol, and the 4th symbol.
So the 12th, if we're going from left to right, is the furthest one to the right.
Mm-hmm.
The 9th,
Mm-hmm.
the 4th, and the
1st. So
Okay.
you should have 1, 3,
1,
4,
3, 4, 5,
5.
6, 9, 12.
Yeah.
Guys, we have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12.
He says, one of my... I'm carrying them, but... so I was just carrying all of them because I was the only one that brought a bag, but they seem to match the symbols on the entryway. We weren't sure what they were for, though. Did you all find any?
Found 3 or 4.
3.
Yes, I can do. I can.
And
Sometimes.
he says, I don't know what they're for, though, but it seemed
I
important.
wondered if they were something to do with time.
And he says, oh, yeah. And then he says, well, actually, why do you think that? like he was like, oh, yes, that makes sense. And he's like, no, I gave up. Wait, why?
12, and the
12
number
hours,
of
yeah.
hours in the day, and the way that they're evenly spaced out outside the doorway. It was just a hunch.
And we also heard this weird nursery rhyme in town before we left about space and time, winding and unwinding, spinning, stirring, until you find hands that point, gears a whirring, can't get out without time. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, yeah, that's an old nursery rhyme. I grew up with that, and he starts to mumble it, and he's like, I can't remember all the words, but yeah, we grew up, we'd skipping games and stuff to that.
Yeah, so we're thinking maybe there's some connection to these caverns. And
It's like, I never thought of that. That makes sense though. You can tell he's not like the sharpest knife in the drawer, like he's not trying that hard. Like he's like, oh, yep, sure, yep.
Do
Does
you
that make
have a
sense?
watch?
And he says, no, I don't. My father has one.
Nobody has a watch. Is he the only one in the town that has a watch?
The mayor?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you would have seen them. I just don't think they're the kind of thing that everybody has.
Man, I thought I was onto something, but fine.
so we just need a cog for 2, 7, 8, 10, and 11.
And he says, yeah, but with the way all the rooms and stuff move, how are you going to find them? And also, what is this even for? Have you seen anything to, use these with?
Not yet.
There's got to be something that controls these rooms. Maybe we can
Maybe the
stop
loom
it so we
beast.
can get out.
Maybe.
But it sounds like we need to find. You said Sarah was one of the people in your party. What were the other names of everybody else?
Oh, come on. Let me look at my notes. You're the worst.
You can just tell me he gives me 4 other names and figure it out later.
Okay. No, I can just look at my notes. So Sarah is spelled S-E-R-A. There's a Caleb spelled with a K instead of a C. There's a guy named Hickory, just spelled like the tree. There's a guy named Nathan. There's a woman named Bettany, B-E-T-A-N-Y. and another woman named Chryllis, ChrYlis.
So we need to find your friends and then maybe figure out how to get out of here. And if we happen to figure out what's going on with the looms, great. But I think the priority should be getting everybody out okay and unharmed.
He says, "No, we have to find a way to fix the looms if we're gonna get out. Now that you know I'm not alone anymore, and you all have helped me. We have to find something to help my father. Otherwise, my town will just we won't be able to survive."
There's other things in the world. If you lose your town, but at least you'll have each other.
He shakes his head like he doesn't agree, but he's too polite to argue. This is a fairly young man. Like he's, you know, I feel like he's sort of hot-headed and, you know, wants, like, thinks things have to be a certain way. You know, he's too polite to argue with a nice young lady.
I mean, you would, right? Like he's like looking up into Winnie's face,
mm-hmm. Like who's gonna argue with that?
and he's like, sure, there's other things.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Tip hat. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. He says, well, shall we get going? Y'all have been down here for, I'm gonna say, about 8 hours. It's probably a decent time for you to take a break. But if you want to, like, this room doesn't look like it's going to kill you at all. If you want, you can absolutely keep going. I won't call the session here because we've still got about a half an hour left before we end this evening. And I'm not gonna, like, I'll ask you if there's anything particular you want to do if you do want to take a break. But otherwise, I'll be like, okay, you took a long rest, push the buttons, and then we keep talking.
I mean, it seems like this kid could use some additional time to recuperate now that he's had food and water and a little bit of healing.
Yep.
It would be nice to give him a chance to get back some HP before we move forward and potentially run into something that could skewer him.
Fair enough. The way he's like, shall we get going, does sound a little like, I'm not scared. Let's keep pushing forward.
I think Shy at this point is like walking towards him, looking at me like, can I go get pets, please?
Yeah.
And I wanna let her do that.
And
if he's receptive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. He pets her. He's not like, come here. He just pets her. Okay, we taking a break?
Long rest.
Seeing knots. Okay, so everybody push long rest on your buttons. And Tyler, I'm gonna admit I super rely on D&D Beyond's long rest resetting all the things, and I don't actually know what gets reset when you long rest except some spells and stuff. So, do you know that stuff?
Yes.
Thank goodness.
I mean, for my benefit or for everybody else?
For yours, because everyone else
I got it
gonna push
covered.
the button. Okay.
Everything resets except for hit dice, which
Okay.
you get back half of.
Okay.
Half of your total rounded down.
That makes sense.
But I didn't get a key point back.
You should have.
Okay, I'm just gonna uncheck it then. If that's okay. Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah. You have 4 points per short rest. So I bet if you'd push the short rest button, it would have reset. But yes, it resets. You have all your chi points back.
Okay.
Key points back.
Okay. Sorry, it's probably chi.
I don't care.
Everyone says key point.
Everybody, I
feel
it both
like
ways.
it would, the way we spell
Official D&D
key.
calls it key points.
Key points it is.
key.
Whatever
Okay.
official D&D is worth for this cultural term.
I do love the quotation marks. Yeah. You can call it Kai points. I don't care what we call it. It's just that point. The monkey points. Nope. Monk points. Can't add a Y to the end of that. Makes it a completely
just-
different word.
Call them Chicago points.
Only if you explain the joke.
I don't get that.
CHI is short for Chicago.
But it's spelled K-I.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm thinking of the song Chicago from Victor and Victoria. Victor Victoria.
Oh my gosh. It
Per-
just makes me think of the song Let's Have a Kiki.
Percy,
This
that's
is a slippery
Also
slope.
a good song.
my kitten Duke Ampersand
wake
keeps trying
up.
to steal my fidget toys. Yeah, so does anybody do anything particular? Like, do any of you have, like, bedtime or wake-up rituals? Like, what does any of that look like? You could say no. I go to sleep and I wake up and we're good. But if you... This is a good opportunity if you do
Well,
have
if
a
I-
ritual of some kind.
Actually take a long rest. Because I don't think I need one, but I can't find that information.
So technically our race doesn't sleep. We like
Right.
But you
meditate
do,
for 4 hours.
but you do rest.
You
Yeah,
do
But only
ben-
for
take
4,
and benefit
right?
from
And then
long
we
rest.
have 4 to spend. Sorry?
I was just saying you do take and benefit from long rests. You just transfer 4 hours instead of sleeping for nearly 8.
Mm-hmm.
So then I have 4 hours to do something, correct?
Yeah.
While everyone sleeps?
I think I use that time to train and groom Shy.
Yeah, did you go with a curly-haired dog?
It's basically Tara.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to groom her every now and then, especially if you're running around in the outside world. I haven't had to groom her as much since we've been working from home, but heck, when I had to take her out every day, curly-haired dogs.
Yumi's just a little bit grumpy that she can't look at the sky in the morning, or even
Oh,
know
yeah.
if it's morning or not.
Yeah. I think your internal clocks are telling you that it's been X amount of time, but yeah, that's
Mhm.
tough.
I'm sure it's disorienting.
Towards the end of my 4 hours, I become very agitated, and it's the equivalent of a nightmare essentially, and so I kind of it's like this kind of primal yell, and anyone who's a light sleeper at that time would probably, be disturbed but be able to go back to sleep. But I make the sound and leap up, flames in both my hands, and then kind of do that thing where you realize where you are and realize you're in public, and so I spend the rest of the time doing a kata as a form of self-soothing and self-calming.
Okay.
Practicing my skills.
Definitely bringing that up to you later. Because I witnessed the whole thing.
I think you noticed that Winnie, while she doesn't wake up, seems to also be having a difficult time in her sleep.
Okay.
That I'm much more used to.
Yeah, I don't think Winnie sleeps quietly ever, right?
What does that mean?
No, it didn't. I think this isn't the first time you've mentioned that Winnie is having
Nightmares.
nightmares when
Really?
she's.
I don't remember that.
Oh, maybe I'm misremembering. I'm sorry. That's just what I thought. I could be wrong. So okay. So let's make it. Let's call a choice here. Is this the first time that Winnie's had nightmares in a while?
Yes.
Okay. There, canon. First time she's had nightmares in a while. Okay. All right. So your long rest is done. Jason wakes up with you as people start moving around. He seems better. His color's better. He's still not moving freely, but he looks a lot better. And he's sort of shy. Like he's You know, like he's a perfect gentleman while you're all are doing your stuff, and then he's, you know, sort of awkward. Like he does that thing where he like, okay, like swings his hands and like claps them together and is like, ready to get going.
Yep, let's go find your
The sooner
friends.
we get out of here, the better.
All right.
Sarah's
I
loving
like
this.
Said that at the same time.
What was that?
That was amazing.
What did I miss?
At the exact same time, Winnie said, "Let's go find your friends," and Battle said,
The sooner we get going, the better.
Great.
Because Battle is still like, that wasn't a monster, or like the big bad, whatever this is. Although he's told us some things about this place that are living up to her paranoia, but she's still like, But Sarah's very
Oh, we lost Hannah. We'll have to wait until she gets back.
Oh.
Oh, she's back.
excited.
"I don't know what."
I hand Jason some vegan jerky and suggest that we get going.
Okay. So he's not gonna lead. He's gonna sort of like middle of the packet. Like he doesn't want to be the one that's like, and I think he'll even say, he'll be like, it's no use picking a direction. It just everything changes. Nothing will be the same.
Well, let's at least see what's at the end of this hallway.
So you're gonna go back the way you came, or are you gonna keep moving forward
No.
as?
Wait, but I thought we were at the end of a dead end.
No. You came into the room, like in the bottom right left hand corner, and there's a hallway directly across in the top left hand corner.
Oh, so we can either go back the way we came
Mhm.
to the tunnel we were in,
Mhm.
or we can go to a new tunnel
Mhm.
that is older. Okay.
I'm not sure I understand. The original path we were following, we could have kept going, but then there
Yes.
was a secret passage that we went into.
Yes.
Can
And
we
it-
continue down this secret passage, or
Yes.
is this passage... Okay.
So we have a choice. This is our first fork in the road.
Yes.
Has Jason not gone down this passage that he was
Ja-
locked into?
Jason came up the passage you haven't been down yet.
Oh.
That's where he's from.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like he already knows what's down that way. Maybe we should keep
Nope.
going.
He specifies, he's like, no, it's gonna be different.
Oh, because the room's changed.
Everything changes.
Do we want to go down the way that's changing, or do we want to keep going down the hallway that never changes, other than
I don't
shifting?
know.
And he says, it'll start changing. Trust me, you get deep enough and it starts changing. A lot of what the people that made it back said that didn't make any sense before makes a lot of sense now. Trust me, if we go deep enough, it'll start changing.
So you think it doesn't matter which way we go?
He sort of like gestures like I don't know. Like you can tell his confidence is taking a huge hit. Like he's completely lost. He's just happy there are people again. He's been down here for a really long time. Like he was real close to dying.
Does anybody have a pull towards one direction or the other?
Like an opinion on which way.
I just don't want to go back on ourselves.
Okay.
I feel like Battle wants to go back because nothing seemed to be shifting and it seemed to be taking us into the mechanism, but it seemed safer
Mm-hmm.
than what Jason's describing. Oh. Sorry. Puppy brought toy.
Yeah, I see that.
And follow the main path. Go back out of the
Yeah.
secret door and continue on.
Okay.
She says, disappointedly.
No, not disappointed. I told you, you'll find all the things and oh, I don't think Hannah was there for that part of the conversation. On break, we were talking about how, I'm the kind of GM that if you don't pick up on a clue, that's important to the story or something, I just move it to a different point, right? Like I just like, okay, well, you'll find it in this place now instead. So no disappointed. Okay, so you make it back up to that door, and hang on, must read thing. Oh, Winnie, are your captions not working?
They weren't, so I sent you a new link. It looks like they're working
no,
now.
they're working now. Yeah, okay. Must click Discords. Okay. So you head back up to the door that you came through, the secret door that you came through. And it's at that point you realize that the reason the door is not moving smoothly is it looks like there's a crushed metal creature where if you're facing the door and the way you pivot it where you came in was on the right side, the crushed robot thing is on like on the left side. Like it looks like it's stuck underneath the door and between the door and the floor.
It's like potato masher in the kitchen drawer. It's
Yes.
not letting us open it.
Exactly like that. It's exactly
Can
like
I
that.
examine it?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
$17.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is it looks like so you can't see the main body of the metal bit, but you can see one arm that sort of drags as you pivot the door, and it looks almost like it has like an oiler on the end. So you imagine that this was meant to oil the joint and it got stuck somehow. One second. We got Duke Ambersand basically off the street, and he gets really nervous sometimes and will wander around and like cry. You have to tell him where you are. There you are, buddy. Hi. Yeah. Hi. You want to say hi to Stream? Say hi, Stream. Hi. I'm a nervous little street cat.
Oh.
Sweet cat.
So sweet. No, that's not about you, Fury.
Okay.
So we carry on past the robot.
Yeah, you can head back out into the hallway.
Wastage.
Yep. Okay. So if you turn left, you'll be going back the way you came. If you turn right, you'll be going further down the hallway.
We're going right
Excuse me. Okay.
to find the friends,
All right. You're gonna
including the one that was sucked through a hole in the floor.
You're gonna as you continue down, you're gonna get far enough away that you can't see the secret door anymore. You're gonna be traveling for what feels like an hour or so before the hallway opens up into a really large room. Like it's larger than 40 feet. So we'll say another like third of the room is really dark. And the floor is tiled in large brass squares, and by large I mean they're 5 by 5. So there's the room is a row of 6 5 by 5 foot squares across, and 8 5 by 5 squares long.
Like a rectangular chessboard.
Are the squares different colors?
No, they're a brass color.
Different shades of brass.
Are any of them,
Does it
since
look
it is
curved
brass,
like a chessboard?
are there shinier spots on the brass at all? Showing wear or frequent touching?
So I'd like to use this room as another skill challenge if you're up for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, in your last skill challenge, I used a simpler version, so because it was the first time we'd gone through it as a group. So I'm always going to explain the rules, right? Like the parameters, the expectations for the skill challenge, but I'd like to make it a little more difficult this time. Is that okay? I want to remind you that skill challenge doesn't mean if you roll all the failures and you hit the fail scenario that it's like, oh, that sucks for you and you all die. It'll just change something else about the adventure later on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me write something down. Okay, so reminder, in a skill challenge, you're going to use the things that you are proficient in. So Aaliyah, we're looking at acrobatics, athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, perception. Yume, we're looking at animal handling, deception, history, insight, nature, persuasion, religion. Battle, we're looking at animal handling, investigation, perception, persuasion, stealth, and survival. And Winnie, we're looking at... Nope, that's a phrase sheet.
Athletics, investigation, perception, and survival.
Right. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to get... There's 4 of you. I'm going to ask you to get 6 successes. And you can make up to 4 failures. Okay?
Not individually, as a group, right?
As a group. Yes, so 6 successes as a group, 6 failures as a group. And the fail, so you have to roll a 10 or above for a success. And then, yeah, we'll go in order that, whoever picks to go first, we'll just do that order. And once you use a skill, you can't use it again. We are not going to use the version where if one of you uses like investigation, none of the rest of you can use investigation. That'll be for the next skill challenge. So today, you can use any of your skills, but you can only use them once. Does that make sense? I want you to think creatively here, and tell me what you're thinking, and I'll tell you if I think it works. We'll have like a dialogue on it. It's unlikely that we are going to make it through this room before we finish the skill challenge. Is that all right with everybody? Because we can actually pause here if you'd like and pick this up next time, or we can get it started.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Let's go.
Okay, who wants to go first? Well, actually, Battle, you asked a question first, and that's what triggered this whole conversation. So, let's take... How about you? I volunteer you first. Is that okay?
I have a question before we dive into the skills.
Absolutely. What's up?
Is the... you said we can't see to the full other side of this room, or can we?
Well, those with dark vision can, because it's about... Hang on. I have to do math, and my head is wobbly, so I'm going to do it on my phone.
40 feet.
I really only want to know
40
if
feet
we
long.
can see another path opposite.
You're right. It needs to be 10 squares long, not 8. And it needs to be 8 squares wide. My apologies.
40 by 50 feet.
Right.
Okay, that kind of answers my second question. Is the entirety of the floor is these squares? It's not
Yes.
like there's a stone floor with
Nope.
speckled brass squares amongst it?
Nope. It goes all the way to the edges, and the brass tiles, if you will, touch.
Okay, and it's 10 by 8?
Yes. 10 by 8 squares, and each square is 5 feet by 5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Battle can go first, but Winnie also has stated her intention to make sure that if anything is going to happen, it's going to happen to her first. So
Yes.
she will be right behind Battle. if
That's
that
fair.
happens.
Now, Battle, remind me what you were...
I'm sorry, my dog is digging in the couch. I wanted to check with the party to see if it's okay if I use investigation, because I know that's kind of a hot commodity in these situations.
Nope. I said you can all use
Oh.
investigation this time.
Okay.
It's
I'm doing
next
that.
time that you won't.
Definitely doing that.
Okay, so before we roll, what are we looking for?
I want to see if there's anywhere. So you know how copper is, where it's kind of dull until people touch it.
You were looking for shiny, right?
I wanted to see, or like texture changes, color changes. If it is in fact shiny dull, or like if we can tell if there's been activity, like creating a shine on the material.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll for that.
Okay. 16 plus 4, so that's dirty 20.
That is a success. So, what you are going to be able to see here is you can see different textures. It appears it's faint, and there are places where it looks like the path is sort of broken, but it does appear like there's a path that goes through, but it's there are branches, right? Like it's not. You're going to need a little more information to determine like which of those worn spots is the right one. I don't know if I made sense there. Did that make sense? Yes, I'm seeing nods.
There's paths there. It's worn in places, but I need more to know like if there's a rhyme or reason to them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Winnie, you declared you wanted to have things happen to you, so why don't you go next?
I'm so tempted to just use my athletics to start making my way across this floor and then jumping out of the way if anything starts to move or seems like a trap. But also, I've got survival, which could potentially help me look for tracks and like determine the right path before I move forward and just start breaking things. You know, it's like, for example, an example of survival is like avoiding quicksand. So like, I'm so torn. But
Winnie has been a little more cautious in this dungeon. So like recently. So
that is true. I think I'm gonna use survival instead to try and see if there are specific pathways that seem to be tread upon more frequently, and then also any potential like indications that maybe something is like the floor is gonna turn into lava or something.
Okay. So traps. Trap type things. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think you can build on battle success, like battle. Would you share like these are I'm seeing this, and then Winnie can sort of build on that. Yeah, I'm seeing a nod. Okay. Winnie, roll for me. See what we got.
13.
That is a success.
Freaked me out because I got a natural 8, and I was like, oh wait, I've got a bonus.
So what you're gonna see is as you're looking at the worn spots that Battle points out, you can actually tell what it looks like is that there are different kinds of robots that have moved through here, and there's one path that seems a little more established than the others, and it's like it looks like maybe a machine that has like a heavier left wheel, so it sort of wobbles, and so it's like a wobbly path, so it looks like it curves a little bit back and forth, has like a curvy edge to it, and it feels like that might be the safest path, but you're not sure, and you're not getting a good sense of like whether you stepped on one of the bright shiny ones, whether you'd all burst into flames or whatnot. There isn't anything obvious enough yet that you've seen.
Does it seem like the tracks go like perpendicularly across the squares, or does it like cut diagonally? Like there's not really like
there are no diagonals in the paths. They all
so it's like
cross.
It goes square, 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 turn, square, square, square. It doesn't like cut across the corners of the squares.
Yes. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now, Yume or Aaliyah, who wants to go next?
I can.
Okay, Yume, what are we doing?
Neither Battle or Winnie have stepped out onto a tile.
Nope.
This is all just observing from the edge of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I want to step out, but I think Winnie would yell at me, so I won't.
I would yell at you because I'm remembering the other room where I threw a. Did I throw? What was it? The metal thing that I threw? It was a nut. I wanted to say spoon, but that's a different game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was though. I thought it was like
But
a
was
fork
it a
or
spoon?
something.
Anyway, I threw something metal and nothing happened, but then when a
Oh, you did.
non-metal thing went in,
Yeah, that was in that first room
Winnie
where the
got
two
stabbed.
limes were. Yeah.
so I'm just having questions about
wanna know
organic
more.
and non-organic traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I share that with you, Yume.
Okay, I'll wait.
I mean, we do still have Bucket, right?
We do.
You do, but Bucket doesn't go anywhere on his own anymore. You have to pull him along.
Does anyone have the power to propel Bucket?
Chuck the bucket. Chuck it. Chuck it.
I mean,
Bucket.
he's on a rope. We could just swing him around like a loop de loop.
But that might not give us information we need. If he belongs here, it might not set
Yeah.
something
That's
off.
true.
Okay, so here's a little bit of a stretch.
I love those.
Yume's kind of a smart cookie. She's done a lot of reading,
Mhm.
and I bet in modern day she'd be the type to do the newspaper crossword puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably done a lot of brain elasticity training
Yes. Yes.
comparatively to ye old days,
Yep.
whatever equivalent there is.
Mhm.
So taking a hard turn away from that, I'd like to use insight
Mm-hmm.
to maybe ponder what intention I'm gonna use the word puzzle because this is literally puzzling. Like, this seems strange even for this place. Like,
Mhm.
what is the purpose of having a empty grid room?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of thinking, like, what could a designer of a place like this, if there is any intention behind it, what might that intention be to have
Yeah.
a room like this?
I love it. Roll for me. Let's see what we got.
Okay. That is a 16 plus 2, 18.
Got it. Okay, so we've got our third success. You're familiar with the concept of rooms like this being like a way to guard an entrance. But you've seen a lot of things doing stuff. I don't want to use the word manufacturing, but like there seems to be a lot of intent, even if it's sort of broken at this point. So you start thinking along those lines, and you wonder if the plates have different like pressure points under them, whether it was a way to like guide the robots in the area where like the little metal things, whether following like they like the brass plates would drop enough to certain degrees where they knew they were on the right path to get to where they needed to go. So there might be multiple entrances to this room that you just can't see, and they'll open up based on what path you take.
I think there might be, like, locks here, almost like passcodes, depending on how you move in here.
We have a lot of keys. If we need one.
I think this is more like a brain key, a walking key.
A brain key. Yes.
Do we want to go one at a time or in a group?
Hang on. It is Aaliyah's turn.
Oh,
we're gonna do Aaliyah's turn, and that's where we're gonna leave it for the evening, so that each of you had a chance to go once, and then we'll do our wrap up. So Aaliyah, what skill are we using today, my dear?
What's on the ceiling?
The ceiling is extremely far up. It's more than 60 feet up, so it's in shadow. But that is an excellent question. Would you like to use a skill to find out more?
Skill, would that be perception or insight or acrobatics? I don't see how I could use acrobatics.
How
Perception
tall?
or insight?
How tall's our Furbolg?
10 feet.
How
8.
tall?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
I just realized my character breaks a lot of things. I'm gonna grab a key and give it to Dandy and cast light on it and ask him to fly around.
Awesome. Okay.
Dandy!
I guess I could have just lit up Dandy with light, but
I like this better. Hang on a second. Cast. I must write this down. That's such a good visual. Cast light on a key. Has Dandy fly around. Okay, now, 100 feet up in the air is still difficult to see that, right? It's not going to be perfect, and it's just going to be a little disc of light flying around. Aaliyah, what do you want to do with this? Like, just throw out an idea, and we'll see if we can find a skill that fits.
I mean, I'm interested in several things. Like, is this a ceiling that looks like it moves? Are there mechanics? Are there grooves in the wall? Or are there handholds and things? Are there things that I could use to traverse the room without touching the floor? Those are my main.
Why don't you use, if I can offer a suggestion, you could use perception to watch where Dandy is going. And let's say
do that.
Dandy isn't just doing like loop-de-loops, but Dandy's trying to like do a pattern. Does that sound like Dandy, or is Dandy doing loop-de-loops, Yume?
I think he would do loop-de-loops if I didn't tell him to do anything, but I can...
What
You know,
are you
ask
doing?
him.
Okay. Okay, so Aaliyah, we're going to use perception. Go ahead and roll for me.
14 plus 6. It's dirty 20.
Great.
Kind of wanted to use my role playing point. Don't need to.
You really don't. You said 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Dandy's going to move around in patterns, and you're going to see that the edges of the ceiling are edged in this metal that you keep seeing everywhere. And there are marks in the metal at what appear to be not consistent. It's not like every 5 feet there's a mark. And the marks are like deep grooves in the metal. And you're a little too far away to see this exactly, but it could be that the groove goes all the way through the metal. So you're seeing like bands of metal that meet around the entire perimeter of the room.
I relay this information.
This place just gets more and more confusing. Jason, did you visit this room before?
And he goes, nope, never been here before.
Is he completely believable?
Roll me an insight check. And this will be outside your skill challenge. We will just pause that for a second.
5 plus 6, 11. Do I want to re-roll that? Not really. You think I do?
I mean, we're toward the end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
I'm
session.
gonna
And
Yeah.
RP points don't, move over into the next.
They do not.
Okay, 11 plus, what was it? 6. So 17.
He seems completely sincere. Like he's when you get to this room, he like looks around and he's like, I can't help you out. Never been here before. And he doesn't seem like he's lying at all. He does seem scared, right? Like
Okay.
when the story he told you about, which was believable about the time he spent here. Everybody got really hurt that was with him and disappeared. So he is not anywhere near the edges of these squares. He's watching all of y'all like, when do you go first? I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where we're gonna leave it for the evening. So, stream, if we've got anybody with us. I don't think my viewer count is reflecting accurately. What we do here is I collect what the players have learned this evening, and I write it down so that I can read it back to them. That helps me as a GM figure out what they've picked up on. So if I have tried to drop a clue and they haven't like picked up on that clue, I can know that I need to loop that in next time. That's a good way to do that. It's also a good way to like set the scene when you start up your next session. It reminds people of what happened last time. Like collective note taking, basically. Then we'll do an RP point nominations. I do accept those from chat. So what I ask for is for the players and anybody in chat to nominate good role-playing moments. They don't have to be funny necessarily or heroic. They can be sad, they can be poignant, but just a really good representation of a character in a role-playing moment. So go ahead and drop those into chat while I collect what we learned. What did you all learn this evening?
There is danger down here. We just haven't hit it.
Okay.
Jason really exists. And
Yep.
so Battle's starting to question, like, how suspicious is this? Or is she being rather paranoid? But Jason could also be part of the puzzle or the mine betraying us. So Battle is not sure. But feeling a little self-doubt.
Okay.
Jason had 4 more cogs and surrendered them very willingly. Didn't seem bothered by the fact that we had cogs, just is kind of completely puzzled, but thinks we need to solve the puzzle that he doesn't know is a puzzle. So that's fun. Committed to solving something.
On that note, we've officially initiated a companion quest.
What does that mean?
Jason's the tag-along.
Yep.
Not the smartest tool in the shed, so he's not going to be a whole lot of help so far. I mean, we'll probably continue checking with him, but
It seems like
largely
have
we just have to keep him alive.
It seems like we have 2 active collection quests.
You have to collect
12
people
cogs
and cogs.
6 friends.
Yep. I mean, you were sent down here to see if you could find Jason and to find a way to help fix the looms back home. So, and then now you have a puzzle, and then you also have to figure out how to get out. And also, there's 5 other people, and you just seem to be collecting things you need to do. What
And
else?
having work flashbacks.
Sorry. What else did you learn this evening?
Winnie is increasingly worried after meeting Jason and finding that his compatriots just disappeared. Now, he did get separated from them because he, like, threw himself through the wall that was closing or moving or whatever, but, like, that Sarah just, like, fell through the floor and just nobody knows what happened. I think that connects with Winnie and her experience of
Yep.
people that she cares about just going missing, and that is really bothering her.
See what happens when you share backstories with your GM.
Drama. Winnie does not like it, but Hannah likes it. Hannah is having a great time.
I appreciate the the reinforcement there. That is helpful to me. Okay, what else have you learned?
At least according to Jason, this place is moving, or can move quite a bit, though that doesn't seem to be the case for us so far.
Mm-hmm.
our path seems to have been pretty static. Doesn't mean it hasn't changed behind us,
Mm-hmm.
but we haven't seen any strong evidence of it moving.
Cool. Other things you've learned? You ready for RP points?
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say what we learned about this room, but I think that's pretty concrete stuff. So
Yeah, I'll go over all of that when we start it next time. I'll talk through each of the points we've already hit. Okay, you ready to move into RP points? Anything else you've learned?
That's it.
Okay, let's do RP points. I love how active you are in the session chat, but let me get all the RP points in before we start comments again. Just so it's all contained for me, please. Okay. What kind of role-playing points we got? I don't see any in chat today. What were good role-playing moments today?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Aaliyah's nightmare.
Oh, that was a good one. Yep.
And the way she, like... I mean, Winnie didn't see it because she was also asleep and dealing with her own stuff, but... Battle being like, I'm gonna follow up on that later.
Mm-hmm.
Is that two moments? Aaliyah's nightmare and Battle wanting to follow up on it later?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, and Winnie being pensive right at the very beginning, like really just kind of self-absorbed with her acts. Like there's something going on for her at the moment.
I don't know how to spell pensive.
And you may giving Dandy a key, lit up key, was nice.
I love that.
I want to say Yumi taking the bold move and sticking her fingers
Oh yeah.
through the gap. Bold moves.
Yeah, that was a good. That was yeah.
And healing, being the first to heal Jason.
I don't know if it counts because it was Yume's like person that was doing the role playing, but like the way that Yume's player, I don't know if we're saying names on stream, that's just why I'm
It's
dancing
fine.
around this. Was like thinking about the best way to go about healing so that it would be effective and didn't just like, let's just try this and see if that works. Like I liked how thoughtful that was.
Because
I
it
don't
would
know
have been
if that
totally fluid and competent on Yume's part, but I didn't want to like have a miscommunication between player and GM of what would be effective in this moment because I don't know how magic. Tyler doesn't know how magic works in Azalea, so or like in D&D in general. So
Well, the way I saw
don't know
that
what would
too.
work, but Yume would.
Well, the way I saw that too is I didn't make it clear what kind of injury he had. You know, like I didn't make it clear that he wasn't just tired. He was crushed. You know, and that became clear when you were asking the kinds of questions you were. I always appreciate people doing that because I don't want you wasting a spell. I don't want you to. And frankly, if you were like, I cast Lesser Restoration, I would have been like, that's not gonna do much. Let me explain a little bit more about it. So I love that you did that. I thought that was great. That's helpful for me. You know, tells me what story bits I need to pull out more. Okay. Can't spell anybody's name correctly, apparently. There we go. Other role-playing points? You all ready to vote?
I feel like we recycle this one a lot, but I'm just fond of battle skepticism or like suspicion.
Yeah, I am too.
Just so suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
It's not a very sneaky cave. Or is it?
Cool. Ready to vote or other role-playing points? I really like the RP moments too because it adds a lot of flavor to when we start up again. We can remember a lot of these moments. Oh, we're seeing votes. Okay. my rainbow spoon emote. It's one of my favorites. Got it, Tyler. Actually, I'm gonna do this spoon because I think it's, yeah, okay, got it. So we've got two. So Aaliyah's gonna take the role-playing point for waking up from her nightmare with a yell and with her hands on fire. That was very good character building. All right. So before we say bye to stream, anybody doing anything that they want to tell stream about that they should go check out? Any fun streams happening or nope? Okay.
So don't you have a thing?
Battle, you're muted.
I do.
What you got?
So my partner's birthday stream is on Thursday next week.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So you can find their Twitch at twitch.tv/dashmaker. And we will be doing lots of fun things. I'm baking mini cupcakes with different fillings for cupcake roulette. It's going to be
So will
fun, wild.
Dash won't know what's in the cupcakes and they
No,
just have to
like,
eat them?
I'm going to put some taco meat inside a couple.
Oh,
I'm going to put cheesecake filling inside a couple.
oh,
I'm
that
going to
sounds...
put, like, candy inside a couple. You know, I'll make it mostly nice, but there's, you know, their chat last night was like, toothpaste, let's do toothpaste. I was like, no, that's
No.
me.
That's, yeah.
Something at least edible, but like cheese would be funny, or like taco, you know, like
Yeah,
still food items.
right,
But
okay.
they won't have any idea.
No teeth. Yeah, got it. Cool. Yeah, other things people are excited about coming up? Okay, I want to keep reminding stream until this happens that for my birthday stream, I love that Dash and I have a birthday in the same month, by the way. Please tell them I said so. The last, we haven't picked the date yet. I'm still figuring that out, but the last week of this month we'll do a stream where I'm combining Treasure Tuesday's cast and Broken Bane's cast. Almost everybody is interested in doing it. I did offer it for Shift, my home game, but did not have any takers, which is fine. You don't have to stream all your games. I just want to let everybody know that you can play games with your friends online and not tell the internet about it. That's totally fine. And there are players that prefer that. That's okay too. Make sure you find the right games for those players. Yeah, so that's going to happen that week. It's going to be an adventure outside of the adventures they're in. It's going to involve magic spoons, which I'm very excited about. And that's all I will say for now. This morning I recorded a podcast with Knights of Braille that should be out in the next couple weeks. I talked a lot about being autistic. That's what the podcast was about. So if y'all are interested in my version of autism, you can I'll post a link to that on my Twitter. And yeah, our usual games. Treasure Tuesday has now moved to Wednesdays to accommodate a Bard and Barbarian game, which is also going to be awesome. And Broken Bane hopefully next week. We'll see. So yeah, check out Like 7 Spoon on Twitter for announcements such as when we are starting to play our games. But other than that, I think we're good. Any other announcements? I got one more? No? I just saw pointing, but
Upon Aaliyah's reminder, I am compelled to share that I am no longer living the NDA life, and QWE After Dark now is releasing sex ed
I forgot about that.
streams
Yes.
on YouTube.
Yes,
Episode 1 is out. We talk about consent.
awesome.
The next episode is going to be about gender identity and what the heck it is. And that's about as PG language as I have used to describe the show, but here we are.
I mean, if you're gonna be having a stream about sex ed like that, I understand at least that that's not gonna be super PG. I assume you're gonna be, not super like crude and rough and jokey about it. I assume this is gonna be really, like, tasteful is not the right word, but like straightforward and.
It's going to be educational.
And polished. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I'm looking
And
forward to that.
I mean, it's 18 plus technically, but because we're bound by the laws of like YouTube. But
Right.
we will have visual impetus and do verbal descriptions of said impetus, and have lots of people from like community leaders from Pup Play to like leather and kinks and
Now
toys and
this
all
is
kinds of things.
I assume this is a silly question, but this is a queer-friendly education space, right?
That's the entire point.
Okay,
Because
just
a lot of
checking.
a lot of queer folks got their sex ed, especially around like queer identity and
yeah.
what the heck sex is for queers.
Oh, yeah.
Parcel or by personal experience.
Yep.
Which is an entire minefield in itself. So we're trying to
Oh,
provide
yeah.
something that is not previously provided. So.
Yeah, I definitely get very awkward questions from teens sometimes when they find out I like girls too, and they're like, "Oh, how do you?" And I'm like, well, "Okay, hang on." So I would love to have a space where I can be like, "Here you go watch this YouTube series."
Well, we also want to talk about accessibility and like disabled sex and wheelchair sex and like
Well, yeah,
toys for people who have like
yeah, I can't use regular vibrators. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that's a whole genre there too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very
So-
interested in that. I've seen some other spaces that do that. Like I've seen some really interesting comics that go over that kind of thing too. And yeah, I am fascinated by this. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Anyway, I assume,
Now that we've gone down a sexual tangent.
yes.
Sorry, folks.
No, but I'm glad that we're telling my stream about that. I'm totally comfortable with stream knowing about that. I think that's a very important topic. It's definitely not discussed enough, and there need to be safe spaces for that. I fully support this. Okay, any other announcements? Are we ready to say goodnight?
I could plug something. I don't
Yes,
normally.
please.
Doesn't have
You
anything to
never
with
do.
me
Tell me.
necessarily.
Yeah.
It's really not to do with me directly, but I have friends that are doing a Kickstarter right now. If you're into role-playing games, we play D&D here, but you might have heard of Blades in the Dark, and a show called The Magpies, which is an actual play. They've expanded into a podcasting company called Clever Corvids, and they're doing a Kickstarter to get their new shows up. What's the term? On the road, up and running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you know about the show, it'd be great if you could support them, but at least go take a peek at clever__ Corvids on Twitter and check out what that's all about, just to get them some attention. They're very
Yeah.
they care a lot about social justice and diversity
Yeah.
and accessibility and things.
That
And
sounds
some
awesome.
fun shows.
That sounds like a really good community to follow. Hey, would you two mind linking your stuff to the session tweet that I send out? If like, I'll try and do that right after this, and so it's
Sure
the
can.
latest thing, because I think that would be really good to be able to link those sources there. Okay. Cool. Any other announcements? All right. Well, I think it's time to say bye, stream. Everybody together now. Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye,
Stream.
stream.
Bye, stream.
Oh, hang on. We just got raided. I have to say I'm sorry to the
Hello,
raid.
stream.
Dad asked me, thank you so much for raiding with a party of 5. I'm so sorry. We just got done with the session. And so we're running away. This is our usual end time. I'm so sorry. Thank you
back
for
next
joining me.
week.
Please come back next week, and you can check out the stream. I'm going to post it on YouTube, and it's on my Twitch. Oh, God, I feel so bad. I never get raided. It was so good to see you, though. Does
Back Wednesday
anybody...
at 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Follows Night says, can we stay for another 2 hours? Oh, no. So we've got a neurodivergent group here, and I am an ambulatory wheelchair user, and we cannot sit still that long. We've been doing this for a couple hours already, but we'd love to see you next week. We usually play on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is math in other time zones. Yeah, I hate doing math. I hate time zone math. So, and yeah, all of our episodes are online. This is a really fun stream, I think. So, but yeah, sorry, we're gonna run away now though. So